Happy Sunday, English 101 students. This week's teacher chat is going to go over the upcoming week as well as the last remaining 5 weeks of the semester, and just make sure you guys are ready for your annotated bibs and your proposals. So on the screen you can see a meme that I thought you guys would appreciate. You're 1 week into researching your topics for inquiry number 3. And last week, hopefully it sounds like you guys started a lot of different research and you started to look at different types of articles, but also different just websites in general. And this week, I really encourage you to get into reading some of those. You might also be doing more research, but taking the time to read through the sources to make sure they really fit. Sometimes students just skim them, and then by the time they get to writing the essay, they realize, oh man, I actually have 2 sources that say the same thing. And so it's hard to kind of use both of them, or you find out a source really isn't that helpful. So I give you this meme here on the screen because you think like sometimes when you read, oh, I'll just highlight the important parts, but in reality sometimes you highlight everything. And that can either be taken one of 2 ways. Either you highlight everything because you feel like everything is going to be important, which can sometimes happen. But maybe the flip side of that is that sometimes you really do find a source that you love, you understand what it's saying, you feel like it's going to be useful to you, you have something to say, whether it's, you're agreeing in some way or you're disagreeing in some way. So I would really encourage you guys to, take reading and research with a grain of salt, give yourself some good breaks, give yourself a break, I guess is what I want to say, and just make sure you're taking the time to read, but also know that you don't have to understand everything. I also want to kind of tell you guys a little bit about the upcoming schedule. So this week is week 12. We have 6 weeks until we're done, but 5 more weeks of class. This week we're going to finish our research and start writing our annotated bibliographies and proposals. Those will be due by Sunday, November 8th. Next week, the week 13, you will start drafting your research argument essay, and I will lead you guys through different ways that you can approach that drafting. At the end of that week, you will submit a rough draft of inquiry number 3's essay. So just know you have 1 week to write the draft. The draft does not have to be perfect. It does not even have to be complete, with a bow at the end. You just need to kind of get the majority of it down so that you can get feedback from both myself and peers. Week 14 will be for revision and editing the essay. And as I say on the assignment sheet for Inquiry 3 will not be due until after Thanksgiving break. Now, a lot of students sometimes think like, hey, that's unfair, you're assigning work over break, and that's really not my intention. At the end of week 14, you should have had feedback from me, feedback from a peer, and some coaching and guidance on revision and editing. You can submit it at the end of week 14. However, sometimes students really appreciate having a little bit of extra time, and so it will not be due until we come back from Thanksgiving break, the Sunday before, starting week 15. So week 15, second to the last week of class, we will turn in essay 3, and we will start a very, very, very tiny inquiry number 4. It's really a creative project. There's no big writing assignment. You'll do a writer's letter with this one. And so I'll give you that assignment sheet then. Again, please trust me, this is a much easier assignment. You guys are in the really home stretches of the majority of the work right now with inquiry number 3. And then the last week, just finishing up the project, finishing up any loose ends of the course, that kind of thing. So let's look at this week's module for week 12. So as you can see on the screen, there's a couple things going on. Of course, I'm going to put in this video for the teacher chat at the top. There's a bonus video. This is the video I wish I had introduced last week, but I just found time to do it. And it is coaching you how to find scholarly articles using the City College Library website, where you can access databases with your student ID and your last name. So please, 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 if you haven't found 2 scholarly articles yet for your research paper, please look at this video to make sure that you know how to access scholarly articles. Google Scholar can be fine, but sometimes it's limited in its resources, or you can't read the whole chapter or article or what have you. So I really encourage you to use this site. Then we have a little bit of the student lounge. I have another video for you guys to watch. This is on academic integrity, which just means that we talk a little bit about what plagiarism is and other ways that there's like kind of academic dishonesty that students might have issues with, and kind of ways to work around that. So please watch this, it's very important. And then I have a sample annotated bibliography and proposal, and I want to have you guys look at this quickly. In here, I kind of detail out again what the annotated bib and proposal are. As I mentioned in my announcement from this past week, this is historically the assignment that students don't do the best on. It's actually usually the worst grades in the class. But I keep teaching it for two reasons. One, students will be asked to do these in other classes, and I don't want you to feel like you've never been exposed to it. Number two, you guys already have the skills to do this. We've been practicing it all along. It just looks different. It's kind of like we've gathered the ingredients in a different way. So I define, what the assignments are for. Make sure you realize how to do these assignments, that there's a rubric for it at the end of the guide to research, and then what they look like. But I want to draw your attention to these samples. Now, these samples are not samples that are going to match your prompt. Every semester I come up with new prompts just to make it interesting. So the prompt you're writing on right now is not a prompt that I've assigned it before, specifically. But I want you to just see what it looks like. The annotated bibliography should be a separate document than the proposal. It will have the MLA heading up here at the top. Title of annotated bibliography. You're going to have all 5 sources in here, and I kind of go through source 1 here. So please read my comments on the side. Please note what it looks like, right? The green part is the summary. This teal part for you guys will be your reaction to the text. For English 205 students, it was looking at rhetoric. And then the last purple part is the contribution to your argument, how this source is going to help you make your argument you think, right? You don't have to know exactly, but I want to hear you propose how this could be useful to you. And I just want you to see that this annotation right here with the bibliographic citation and this dense paragraph is one source. Then you will do that for a second source, and a third source, and fourth and fifth. So you will have 5 total of these. They go in alphabetical order by the first word in the citation. And I just encourage you to do your best with MLA formatting. I am not a teacher who worries a whole ton that you have every comma in the right place, but I do want to see an attempt at MLA citations. So this is an example of an annotated bibliography with my comments on the side. And if you scroll all the way down, you're going to see a proposal with the same kind of comments. This is what the proposal can look like: 4 distinct paragraphs according to the 4 different bullet points in the instructions in the Guide to Academic Research, and my notes here on the side guiding you to how to read this, right? How to understand what's happening in here. Please look at them carefully. I'm happy to go over any of these ideas with you in a Zoom meeting sometime this week. Going back to the modules, there's also a bonus worksheet. You're not required to do this, but in case you feel overwhelmed by writing the annotations, I've given you just a little worksheet where you would practice writing the citation, writing the summary, writing your reaction, and writing how you think the source will contribute to your argument. And I give you guys a little note about that. So if that's helpful to you, feel free to use it. And then we will have discussion post number 9. We are on number 9 out of 10, so you guys are almost finished with discussion posts. There is a new research pairs assignment. I'm hoping that I fixed the way the assignment shows up for you on your end. And I think Jennifer, who dialogued with me this evening about what it looks like as a student to see the assignment for the research pairs. This time it's just very simple. I just want you guys to share some kind of joke, some kind of meme like I did with you at the top of this video about research. Maybe you have, I don't know, a GIF or some kind of clip from a show or something about research. Whatever you can share with each other to just make each other laugh, take the edge off a little bit. So you'll notice that this week you do not have any outside reading. We will start to come back to that a little bit. I do want to draw your attention to the They Say, I Say book in the coming weeks. just to do some short chapters about how to quote and how to write naysayers and stuff like that. But this week, the bulk of the work is research and writing your annotated paper proposal. At the very end here, 12.7, 12.8, this is where you're going to submit those assignments. They are due by end of day on Sunday, November 8th. And then once they're in, I'm going to do my best to get you guys feedback on the proposals first. So that's a good way for me to kind of see where everyone's landing with your ideas and make sure and I can give you guys any feedback as you go forward. Again, next week will be about writing the research papers and making sure you guys get your ideas on paper so that we can then edit and revise them and kind of craft them into a nice argument. As always, I'm here to help, as is Andrew. Andrew's going to be reaching out to you guys with another survey to see if anyone wants to do a study group as you start to draft your essays. So please let us know how we can help. Thanks and have a great week.